Are you one of us? Signs you might be a Sigma INFJ. You've probably heard it before. You're different. Hard to read. Too intense. And maybe, like most Sigma INFJs, you started to wonder, is there a reason I've never quite fit in anywhere? This video isn't here to flatter you with feel-good labels. It's here to hold up a mirror. Because Sigma INFJs don't crave recognition. But they do deserve to understand the architecture of their mind and why so few people seem to think the same way. Here are the signs you might be one of us. Not just an INFJ, but the Sigma variant, quietly strategic, detached by design, too independent for the herd, too deep for the surface. Let's begin. 1. You're a contradiction that somehow makes sense. You're gentle but commanding. Detached but emotionally intelligent. Private but deeply perceptive of others. You seem calm on the surface, but your thoughts never stop looping underneath. People often project onto you because they don't know how to categorize you. You don't follow the usual INFJ warmth, nor the detached cool of the typical Sigma. You're a rare hybrid of depth and direction. And even you sometimes struggle to explain your own behavior, because everything you do is context-driven, logic-filtered, and deeply instinctual. You're not confusing. You're layered. There's always a reason. Always a pattern. Always a purpose. Even if you don't voice it out loud. 2. You resist group identity, even within rare labels. Most INFJs are drawn to communities. They long to find others like them. But you? You don't need to be surrounded by your kind to feel valid. You'd rather be misunderstood and free than accepted and diluted. You notice when a label starts becoming a crutch. You avoid echo chambers, INFJ or not. You question everything, even the community that's supposedly built for you. You don't just want to feel special. You want to feel accurate. And if a group, belief system, or identity no longer aligns with your internal compass, you walk away, no matter how rare, spiritual, or right it appears to be. 3. You operate on strategy, not emotion, even if you feel deeply. You can feel someone's pain and still hold boundaries. You can love someone and still leave. You can be in the middle of emotional chaos and still calculate the long game. Your empathy doesn't blind you, it informs your decisions, but it never controls them. You're not impulsive. You don't spill your emotions at the first crack of tension. And when you speak, it's with clarity, not catharsis. This frustrates people who expect you to be reactive. But you've learned the difference between feeling and acting. And your detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. 4. You've been called mysterious, even when you're just being normal. You weren't trying to be mysterious. You were just observing. Processing. Choosing not to overshare. But somehow, that silence gets romanticized, feared, or misunderstood. People ask what you're hiding. Why you're so guarded. Why you don't open up like others do. But for you, being private is natural. You don't offer your story to be consumed. You offer it only when it feels right to those who've earned it. You're not being elusive. You're being selective. And that, in today's oversharing world, is radical. 5. You've walked away without drama, and it confused people. There wasn't a fight. There wasn't a loud goodbye. There was just silence. Distance. A clean break. People may not even realize you're gone until they feel the absence of your emotional presence. You don't announce your exits. You don't post cryptic captions. You don't beg to be seen. You simply recognize when something is no longer aligned. And instead of making a scene, you make a decision. You've learned that peace is louder than confrontation, and that your energy is too valuable to waste on what no longer serves your growth. 6. You don't trust easily, not because you're paranoid, but because you see. You read people too clearly to fall quickly. You can sense hidden motives, feel emotional inconsistencies, spot subtle shifts in behavior that most people ignore. You've seen behind too many masks to believe in words alone. And when someone's energy contradicts their speech, you don't confront, you detach. This isn't cynicism. It's pattern recognition. And it's kept you safe more times than you can count. You don't need dramatic betrayals to trigger boundaries. Sometimes, a single misalignment is enough to step back. Quietly. Completely. 7. You are unimpressed by status, praise, or belonging. You've been praised and felt nothing. Included, and still felt separate. Offered power, and politely declined. Why? Because your currency is meaning, not status, not validation, not superficial connection. You don't bond over gossip. You don't chase attention. You don't perform to be liked. You'd rather be left alone with truth than surrounded by people clapping for a version of you that isn't real. And when you do engage, it's never random. It's intentional. Because your energy is not for mass consumption. 8. You can mirror the world, but you always return to yourself. You can blend in when needed. You can host, joke, charm, adapt. But it's always temporary. Because deep down, your sense of identity isn't shaped by who you're with, it's shaped by who you are when no one's watching. After social interactions, you need space to recover your baseline. After performing, you need silence to return to your center. And no matter how much you shift externally, your internal compass always pulls you home. You're not a chameleon. You're a strategist. And the act was never to mislead, it was to move through noise without losing clarity. 9. You crave depth like oxygen, and surface level drains you. You can't do small talk for long. You don't want to know what someone does. You want to know what shaped them. You register the hesitation behind a compliment, the slight delay in their smile, the quiet strain behind their strength. You're drawn to conversations that reveal, not just entertain. Ideas that stretch, not just distract. People who ask better questions, not just give better answers. And when you don't find that depth, you'd rather be alone. Always. 10. You've built your own philosophy. You didn't inherit your worldview. You built it. Quietly. Privately. Over time. Through observing the world's hypocrisies. Through surviving betrayal and rebuilding your beliefs. Through solitude, late-night thought spirals, and relentless self-reflection. You dismantled every borrowed idea to see what was worth keeping. You've rejected convenience in favor of clarity. You've questioned everything, even your own thinking. And now? You live by a code that no one taught you. A system that only you understand. One that doesn't always make you happy, but keeps you honest. 11. You keep your power quiet. You don't need to prove you're strong. You just are. You don't need to post your boundaries. You live them. You don't need applause for your resilience. You heal in silence. You rise in silence. You cut cords in silence. Because your power isn't in how loudly you react. It's in how little you let things move you when they no longer deserve access. People may mistake your silence for weakness, but only until they realize it was the silence before a storm of clarity. 12. You are deeply loyal until you're not. You give people more chances than they probably deserve. You hold space, extend empathy, wait for alignment. But once the line is crossed, the real line, the one only you see, there's no returning. You don't burn bridges. You erase paths. You vanish without hate, only with acceptance. Because you're not punishing them. You're protecting you. Your love is real. Your presence is powerful. Your absence is permanent. And that's not pettiness. That's a survival mechanism. Conclusion: if this felt familiar, you might already know. You don't need someone to officially confirm that you're a Sigma INFJ. If the signs resonated deeply, you probably already knew. Not because it's a trend. Not because it makes you feel rare. But because, finally, something made sense. You weren't difficult. You were discerning. You weren't distant. You were preserving your peace. You weren't broken. You were built differently. Being a Sigma INFJ is not about being better. It's about being real in a world that prefers the polished. And if you've watched this far, chances are you're one of us.